welcome back to Fluttering Butterflies. My name is Michelle, and for today's video I really wanted to share with you some of the books that I am hoping to read during the month of October. So last month I did a September TBR, and I'm not sure if my September wrap-up will go up. Last month I did a September TBR, and I think I shared 8 or so books that I wanted to read during the month, and I managed 4 of those, so I'm going to consider that a victory, and that means that I'll be continuing doing the TBRs just because it's nice. It feels really nice to have a goal and to meet some of those goals even if it's only half of the list. So I have 10 books that I wanted to share with you this month. I quite like choosing a smaller number of books than I think I will read during the month, just so that I have a little bit of extra room in order to choose some of my own books, choose books on a whim and that sort of thing. I'd love it if I even managed half of these books, to be honest. So here we are, let's get started. The first book is Fur by Sharon Gosling. This was a book that was on my September TBR, and I've just started it last night. In fact, I'm 67 pages in and I'm really enjoying it, so hopefully I'll continue with that one. The next 4 books are books that I started reading last month. I was enjoying them, but for whatever reason I just put them down and moved along. One is Charlotte Says by Alex Bell. This is the prequel to Frozen Charlotte. It was on my September TBR. I did start reading it, but I think that I was kind of maxed out on reading horror. I did read 2 other horror books last month, so maybe this one and Fur can be the 2 books in the horror genre that I read this month, but we'll see. I also started The Lines We Cross by Randa Abdel Fattah. I got a little way into it, 30 or so pages, but I was really enjoying it, and I think I went into London and grabbed my Kindle as opposed to the physical book that I was reading. So hopefully I will finish that book this month. I also started reading Sweet Freak by Sophie Mackenzie, a new YA thriller from her. I did get 104 pages in and was really enjoying it, so hopefully I'll get back to reading this one. And the 4th book that I started reading in September but never finished that I'd like to read during October is Nemesis by Brandon Reichs, and I got 144 pages into this one. I was really enjoying it. I remember my last update for it on Goodreads was what is even going on, and I do love books like that keep me on my toes a little bit. I love the page edges on this. So that's a book that I hope to finish reading in October. And I have another 5 books that I wanted to share with you that I have not started yet reading, but really want to get to this month. The first is Crank by Ellen Hopkins. One of the things that I did during September is that I was really picking books on my shelves that had been there the longest, and having read those, it just made me feel just that little bit it just made me feel just that little bit better about myself, like I was being really virtuous reading books that had been on my shelves forever, and Crank is definitely one of those books for me. I've had it forever. I really should have read it by now, so maybe October will be the month for that. I also want to read Blade and Bone by Katherine Johnson. What I loved so much is that the main character, Ezra, is just I mean, he's just really capable in terms of being the surgical assistant, but I just loved his friendships and relationships with the other people in his life, and so I'm really excited to read the follow-up to that. This is Blade and Bone. I have this book. It's Welcome to Nowhere by Elizabeth Laird. This is a proof copy of the book, but it was published at the beginning of 2017, and this is a novel about the Syrian refugee crisis. This wasn't actually my idea to pick up this book during this month, but my book club ladies who don't normally read books for children or teens decided to choose this one, and I was super excited because I have this copy on my shelves already, so hurrah. Plus it's just a very topical subject, isn't it? I also picked up Orange Boy by Patrice for my TBR this month. I've heard so many amazing things about this book. I really have. I should really have gotten onto it already, but it is just that little bit chunky, and I can sometimes be put off by books that are a little bit long, but and wow, isn't this just a gorgeous, gorgeous cover? But hopefully October is the month that I get to this one. And the 10th and final book that I wanted to share with you is this one. It's All About Mia by Lisa Williamson. This is the author of The Art of Being Normal. I think it's a very, very pretty hardback book. This was sent for review for January, I believe, which is when this book was published, and things were just not going very well in my life at the time. My dad was really ill. I mean, he died in February, so it was a little bit difficult to get on with review copies of things at the time, but I've always been excited to read this book. It's about sisters, and I love books about sisters. Especially middle sisters, I think. I mean, I'm the youngest, so of just two, so I never had that situation, but I always just find the idea of being the middle child to be really fascinating. So anyway, I really hope to get to reading this book this month. That's it from me today. Those are the books that I was hoping to read during the month of October. If you've read any of them, do let me know where you think I should start. And thank you again for watching. I will see you again next time.